for them, not for me. This show's for them, not me.
So let me put my drink here.
Go what you want to do with it. Don't overthink it.
Trying not to. But here we are. Welcome to the Kristian Vasquez Show. Today we have a special guest, Mick Thomas. Not only is he a good friend, but he's an amazing comedian. So here we are, Mick. Finally,
man. Thank you so much for having me on. And I don't know if you want to get your drink up to just toast to you in your first episode.
Absolutely.
And I can't reach in because your mic's
I know, I'm going the other way.
Let's get in. There you go.
Cheers,
Yeah, man. It's just a privilege to be on your first of many episodes. The setup is, I've done uncountable amount of podcasts, not just mine, but other people's. And the setup here is beyond what I've seen ever.
I appreciate
whatever.
that.
It's just, you put, like everything you do, you just put so much effort into it. Like there's an OCD to you.
Yeah.
That's a healthy yet unhealthy
OCD,
sure. Right? You're using it for good.
Right.
You're not going home and like turn the light switch 10 times. If not, you got to beat one of your kids. Right? It's just this work ethic that you have, man, and it just shows in everything you do. And I'm so happy to be part of this.
Thank you. I
of your
appreciate
first episode. I'm really honored.
Having you on the show makes it easier because I know how you know how to carry a show. You have your own show.
Yeah.
Yep. Just so everybody knows, it's called Cheaper Than Therapy. It's a funny podcast. How many episodes are you in now?
I'm closing in on 100 now.
100?
100 episodes, yeah.
Wow.
Closing in on it.
When did you start that?
I started less than a year ago. I was in a hotel in Connecticut and I just did it into my phone because I was supposed to do a show and the show got cancelled for whatever reason. So I'm just stuck in my hotel room. I can't remember the reason why it got cancelled. And I had all this new material that I wanted to try. So I said, you know what, fuck it, let me just get my phone, and just start. So I did my first episode into my phone where I tried out these new bits into a phone. And then I just thought, well, you know what if I just did this every week? Because it's another time on stage. And the thing about when you go on stage, right, with new material is if I want to do a new bit about boxing, right? If this bit is like a 5 to 7 minute bit long, 2 minutes into this bit, if it starts to bomb, like the audience will do nothing, I'll just pull the parachute and leave. I'll bail on it.
Right.
But when I'm not getting any feedback, I could just keep going and keep talking and keep creating, and more stuff will come from a rant. I said, you know what? This is like therapy for me.
Right.
And that's where the name came from, Cheaper Than Therapy. And I used it as an open mic, and then I just went with it. And then when the pandemic hit, I said I should get more episodes out.
Yeah.
Now, I never had any guests. Not many people do podcasts just themselves, ranting and raving. But I do, and the formula, it worked for me. So I thought during the pandemic, let me get people on who can help people, not just comedians who are funny, because millions of comedians can do that, right? They all do it, and some of them are funny. They talk over each other, and they're too loud.
Right.
So I said, let me get people on who can genuinely help people during this time. Like I had a therapist on to help with people. I had a friend of mine who had lost over 200 pounds. So I was going to talk to him about how did he do that. I had you on in relation from a fitness aspect on it. And I just had this woman who was a sex worker, and she was now dealing with going to OnlyFans, and she was a girl who'd been kidnapped by the Hells Angels.
Wow.
And
that's interesting.
So I said, you know what, let me just start having interesting people on, but I still prefer to do it by myself.
Right. I give you credit. Doing it by yourself takes a lot of patience.
It takes a while. Like if you listen to the first episode, it's almost like I'm this professor on PBS. I'm like, hi, good evening. Welcome to the Mick Thomas Show. Cheaper. And then I said, fuck it, let me just start letting go and really being myself. And taking shots at the things I want to take a shot at, right? That you can't, some people frown upon, that they might cut you off. Like if I talk about politics, right, which I did on my last episode, got nobody to yell. I get a bunch of comments, which I always do, get comments and messages after. I don't give a shit. I don't read them.
Right. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But when I go on a rant about politics, no matter what side I decide to go down that road that week, nobody can interrupt me. Right. Nobody. There's no argument about it. And it's just
you get it off your chest.
I get it right off my chest, and it works for me. And I set a goal for a minimum of 20 minutes. And then sometimes I look down, it's like, shit, I've been talking for 45 minutes like a lunatic.
Yeah, well, you could do that.
Yeah.
he could do that.
And that's all it takes, man.
Right. You're awesome, man. So, yeah, I mean, speaking of politics, how do you feel about the climate of politics now in the world?
It's weird. See, I've never really given a shit, even for like wherever the countries I lived in throughout Europe. I never really cared about the politics. I do care about how the people react to the politics, and for some reason, this term around has been just balls to the wall, man.
It's chaotic.
It's unbelievable. I've never seen
so much extreme.
It's hate too for each other, like just for having a political opinion. Like I've seen people just not talk to each other anymore. They're done with family members.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Thanksgiving's coming, like fuck him. He's not coming because of this post. I'm like, really?
And they're using the excuse. They're probably going to use the excuse that only 10 people are allowed. Oh, only 10 people are allowed. But the real reason is they don't care to be around each other right now.
They're going to use a 10 people excuse, but to watch people fall apart, man, just because you have. The sad thing is a lot of people are not really informed, right. about politics. And I didn't vote, right? So I don't pick a side because I genuinely thought both people are full of shit, and I've always thought that because I read this book called Revolution, and what I heard was from what I read was since the dawn of the first president was John Henson, right? Okay. He was the first U.S. president. George Washington was the first elected president, but I know Americans hate when foreigners tell them their history.
Hey, it's fine.
Like, tell them. The fuck is this guy coming over here to my country teaching me shit?
I didn't know that.
So John Henson, when they said, all right, let's have a president, they go, all right, we have to elect somebody. But like, okay, while we're waiting for somebody, let's get this. And John Henson said, I'll do it. And even George Washington recognized John Henson as the first president. So from George Washington, not John Henson, from George Washington up until even now, if Joe Biden is technically, I mean, people say he's fully elected. I know there's still court cases going on, but anything could happen. The guy with the most money has always won.
Right. Since
Washington to now, let's say Biden, right? What I mean by most money, not in his own, because I think Trump would technically have been the richest president.
Right.
But that's
most people behind him.
Most people behind him. And it's even now, and because Trump didn't take any, he didn't have anyone backing him.
And no donors.
No donors, nothing. He wouldn't take a penny. Whereas, so they're technically, Biden had the most money, right? So when I read shit like that, I'm like, what's the point? It's like, it's a rigged race almost. Right. Again, that's just my opinion. So I don't want your fans coming in on the first episode.
It's fine.
Who's this guy?
No. Go ahead.
You know, so I found then, I didn't really, vote. So I didn't have a dog in the fight, but I just love to watch the people. And when you vote for a president, right, you kind of, and this is what people don't understand is for people who are ill-informed, you kind of do vote for what you're going to get out of that guy.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're, like I have friends who are in the military. So these guys are going to vote for the guy who's pro-military, right? So which we know Trump gave the military more money than any other president. That's and because of that, Al-Qaeda was wiped out in a year. A lot of these guys were safer. He was bringing them home.
Right.
Because Trump, so if you're a military guy, you're going to vote for Trump. Now, if you're into, I want transgender people to be everywhere, right? Again, that sounds like a horrible example, but if you're very like left leaning in relation to pro-life, right, pro-choice, pro-choice, I should say, right? If you're pro-choice, then you're going to vote for the guy who goes for that. So for me, I didn't vote because none of them were offering for me. But what scared me as being a comedian is I'm worried about the censorship.
Right.
Very worried about, because the left are getting too we were talking before we started rolling, because you have
cancel culture.
Yeah, you have I don't know, are you allowed to call him Baby Yoda?
I don't know what is he Baby Yoda, George?
No, I don't think so, right? I don't think he's.
I don't think you have the money to say his name.
No, I think he can say it, but I don't think he is now, based on when the Star Wars thing
So
happened.
The Mandalorian Yoda version.
Yeah, so there was an episode of The Mandalorian where this Yoda-looking guy was eating these eggs belonging to a frog. And all these people,
but the frog was protecting the eggs because it was endangered. She was endangered.
Yeah, endangered species, right? As frogs do. And he. So what happened was, now there was thousands of tweets went towards Jon Favreau, went towards Disney about how that's not
insensitive, because
Yoda was eating the eggs.
Yeah,
I'm going to call him Yoda again. Well, you probably get in trouble for. We call him Yoda, the Yoda-looking dude. So he was eating the eggs. So like now people are complaining how it's not sensitive to women who have fertility problems, right? So this is the world we live in now. So I, as a comedian, that's the shit I need to move away from. Like so that's the guy I push away. Like I push those guys away.
Right.
So if I was to vote for a guy, so the guy who's against that, that's
You're
my
all for
interest.
him. Right,
that's my
exactly.
interest, right?
I'm with them too.
But the people who
I'm
vote,
with that guy you're talking about.
right? I know what you're talking about, right? Because you're a business owner,
Right.
And you want to go lean towards a guy that's going to protect your business.
Absolutely.
And then so the fact that you can get hate for voting for someone is just. It's bananas, man.
Yeah.
It was bananas.
I actually had a member who I just had a positive comment about Trump, and she wrote me a message. I don't associate with people with him. I can't believe you. I'm like, I just made a comment. I'm not necessarily for him. I just like this particular thing about him or whatever whatever policy he has. And she,
you can't do that though. You can't.
I was like,
do
wow.
that.
So I stopped. So I stopped
yeah.
even making comments. You can't. You have to be very careful in these times, and I think it's kind of sad. We can't voice our opinions without just, agreeing to disagree.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And the thing is too, when we mentioned this earlier, like nobody says you have to like your president.
Right.
Right. Even if you vote for Trump, you don't have to like him. But if you agree with his policies, and we gave this example before the show started, if you're going in for heart surgery, and your heart surgeon is the biggest asshole, right? He parks in handicapped spaces. He doesn't give a shit.
Right.
He's pushing people over, old people in wheelchairs, get out of my way. But if he's the best heart surgeon, I don't give a shit what you do.
I'm with you.
I don't care if you sacrifice pigeons. I don't care. Just do what you want. Just fix my heart.
That's it.
And people, people take that if you vote for a certain person. Like they say if you vote for Biden, like, which is ludicrous, like you're a pedophile.
Right.
Right, that's insane to say that, right? If you voted for Trump, you're a racist.
Right.
It's the biggest crock of shit ever, and I've never seen a country so divided.
I know.
In the 16 years I've been living here, I've never seen it so divided.
I blame the media.
Oh, 100%.
It's media force feeding or magnifying each person's faults.
Yeah.
And pushing it down your throat, and then you believe in it, and then you obsess over it, and then anybody that portrays that's who they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now they hate you. Not only
Right.
they hate the president, now they hate you, and that's what caused the divide. And I tell people, look, we can't pay attention to the media because the media is they want to divide us.
Yeah,
They want to create a divide. It's a show, and they're programming us to really be separate for whatever agenda they have. I can't pinpoint it, but there's so many.
Well, if you say you don't like the media, it's considered almost a conspiracy theorist. If you say, oh, I don't like the media, like, oh, here we go, here's this guy,
Right.
JFK, 9/11, right?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. It's just what I see. I'm just saying what I see.
No, but the media in general, they've always had an agenda, and it's now a show. The news used to be just the news.
Yeah.
Right? Here's what happened today. Now it's like, here's what happened and here's why. Well, you don't know that. Like you don't get to say why nobody cares why this happened.
Right.
Like you could turn on the news now and you could have a car accident across the street or a bank robber. And do you remember the time when the media would show up with their cameras like, hey, I'm Roger and I'm here with the scoop, and he would catch everything on camera? Now it's like, if you got a good video, can you send me your video, please? And then they'll play your video. So now you're the journalist and they'll tell you their opinion.
Yep.
Right? And then why do you go to people on the street? Like, who gives a shit about the person on the street? Like, what they have to say.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I saw a story on the street a long time ago, and as a comedian made a joke about it too. It was like some woman, she couldn't get a babysitter to go on a date, so she killed the baby. Right? And then they cut to someone on the street, go, oh, she shouldn't have done that. Oh, really? So we have to cut to this ethics code. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why do we give a shit what Mary down the street thinks about? And you're wasting time because you have nothing else to report. Why are news channels 24 hours? Just do 1 hour a day. Here's what happened around the world.
Right.
Nobody gives a shit about this person on the street.
But that's not what it is.
It's not. It's not, man.
They have a storyline.
Yeah.
And actually, they maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like they have a storyline, and you hear the same story across every network. It's the same story, and even the same script sometimes.
It depends on what it is, right? If that's a snow day, yes, right? It's something about the snow. But if you love Trump and you turn on the news channel and this one is just Trump's the best, you go, I'll watch this channel. This channel gets it.
Right.
So now you're not really getting the facts about the left, right? But then if you're all the way on the left, you're going to watch that news.
Right.
And you're going to watch it and go, yeah, see, this is great. What's going on over here? And it's like, it's not the news. It's only opinion. You can settle in, right? It's no different if you want to watch.
And those particular stations that gear towards people's perspective are, they channel you to sell you products too during that. So
it
like
is,
they
man.
know what you like.
That's
you know?
all it is.
That's all it is.
It's even social media. Like, I mean, I know you had a run. I don't know if you want to talk about it because it's, you know, it's your situation, but you got booted off.
Oh my
Off
God.
a platform. So even social
Yes.
media is just, it's based on, like, I was joking with a friend of mine, and it's funny, we're talking about Sons of Anarchy season 3, and I told him I hate that season because of how bad the Irish accents are and
Yeah.
stuff, right? And so fun, we were just talking with your producer
George.
and so my friend who knows that's what winds me up,
Yeah.
and he goes, season 3, he put on Facebook, season 3 was the best, and I'll kill you. I got kicked off.
Oh, you did?
For 3 minutes, and then I hit, do an investigation, please.
Yeah.
Now, I thought, like, when you do an investigation, it's some guy going, hang on a second, let me go back and see the conversation between Mick and Adam. Oh, they've been friends for years.
Right.
Look at how they go back and forth.
Right.
No, all of a sudden, Mick definitely wanted to kill him.
Yeah.
Let's cut him off.
So you got in jail?
I was in jail for, I think, 4 or 5 days.
Really?
That's all.
See, I'd never been to jail,
Okay.
you know, social media jail ever. And all of a sudden, 2 days ago, I go to make a comment or like something, and it just blacked out and said, you have been disabled. I'm like, disabled? What'd I do? You know, I make comments here and there, but I'm not far anyway.
Yeah,
I just make a comment here and there. And then I went to go appeal it. It told me, this is irreversible. I said, irreversible? What'd I do? I have over 5,000, you know, followers. I had all my business accounts on there with, you know, reviews. And it was like 10 years worth of just building up my brand. Gone. I was like, what am I going to do? So, you know, I just said, you know what? I took it on the chin and I said, no, let's keep it moving. I'll rebuild. So I'm not even sweating it.
And there's
It's all
there's no number to call. Like, there's nothing. They
No.
don't. And the funny thing is, like, I had to set up a fake account on Instagram, right? Because there was this one page, and I don't want to say the name of it because I don't like sending traffic towards this
Yeah.
guy. He started off with, he would put this page up, and his page was very pro, which was started off as a great page, and it was all about like this injustice towards black people. Like, oh my God, look at that, like how they're treating this guy. This is not right. This is not good. This is not fair. And some of the stuff needed to be highlighted and brought out in public. But then you read the comments, right? And it's like, yeah, all white people should burn. And I'm like, what, am I supposed to be okay with this? Like, just for a minute, like, can I at least, like, can I? So I just went like, report, maybe, just report.
You can't report nothing.
Right? You know,
you get in trouble.
And they wrote back to me, we don't see anything wrong with this. I go, oh, okay, I guess that's fine. But we're like, burn this guy.
Right.
I'm like, all right,
That's fine.
That's fine. But it's like, and you can't write back to them. Like, there's no complaint department for any of these social media, man. And they all lean left too, right? They lean too left.
Well, right now, for sure.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna probably tip over. They're gone so left, and that's, see, to me, that's, and people like think now that they think I'm a right guy because of that. Like, I'm not I'm right in the middle, right? I lean left on a lot of different policies. I really do, and I lean right on other policies. Right. But for me, it's censorship, man. And if I put a joke up and it offends somebody, and you're going to take that down because it offended you, and the problem is now is that I used to do this bit, and I haven't done it in a while. That's why I don't, because there's no comedy anymore. But
I want to touch on that too in a minute.
Sure, man. Yeah. But when you working on a bit, right? What happens is when you have this culture now where you're supposed to be offended, and you read a story about this guy was offended,
right?
Then the audience will now train themselves to hear these keywords. They won't even listen to the joke. They will hear these keywords, and then that's it. That's all they need to hear. They won't even listen to what you're saying.
Right.
But those keywords hit their psyche, and they'll shut down. Like, I used to do a bit about, it was when transgender really came into the light. Now, listen, before I go any further, you should deserve to be happy.
Absolutely.
Be what you want to be, man. Do what you want to do. Who
totally
gives a
agree.
shit? You know, and if you discriminate against people like that, then you're a piece of shit. So in the joke form, again, the joke was, because everyone was getting fired and that kind of stuff, and the joke was like, listen, transgender people, like, you need to be patient because this is new for us too.
Yeah.
Right? This is brand new for us too. So we need to learn how to react, just because we don't know. This is all new to us, and I'm supposed to act a certain way that I didn't know how. And some of you are bad at it.
Yeah.
Right? Some of them. Do you remember that guy at GameStop, woman at GameStop that walked in, and the guy said behind the counter, he said, "Can I help you, sir?" And he went, "It is ma'am."
Yeah,
and you got to watch that video. It went viral. He's like, "It's ma'am," like that voice.
Yeah.
Kicked over shit and walked out. All he was a guy with long hair and lipstick. Now, look at, again, he can identify as a woman, but you can't expect a guy looking at you. To be honest with you, what I see Again, nothing you do. I'm not discriminating. You be what you want to be.
We should be able to call you what we think.
But I saw a man with lipstick. Right? Because you didn't go all... Now, some guys have walked in. I've got videos from friends that go, yeah, I'd bang her. And they go, that's a guy. I'm like, oh, you got me again. Right? I don't care. Right? Yeah. Like some people, like they've done the surgery, they've gone through it. Like, and again, good luck to them. Mm-hmm. But some people, like I've got a friend who's a legit drag queen. Like, but he's a guy, he's a masculine guy. He goes, Mick, I just love to dress up as women and go sing Barbra Streisand and whatever. Right. And I go, but what does that make you? So now we're supposed to I don't know the difference in a drag queen. Like, I can get confused very easily. And my goal is to never offend anybody. Right? And we live in a time, remember Oscar De La Hoya? He came out with those heels and fishnets and everything. Yeah. We ripped him apart. If that came out today, we're like, good for Oscar.
Oscar.
He's so brave. Yeah. He's so brave. He
found himself.
Right? But again, it's like, so you have that whole society, right, of people who they act like people have a problem with what they do. Nobody gives a shit.
No.
But when you hear the keywords on stage, the audience will immediately just shut down.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to what I said. You're not even going, you know what, that's a good point.
They're like, oh my God.
You're not even saying that's a good point.
Right.
And the same goes back to any politics. You know what I mean? Nobody on the left will ever say, you know what, he's right about that. And no one on the right will go, yeah, that does make sense. It's just people are so tribal. It's scary,
very extreme right now. And I'm just hoping that we come to a happy medium very soon. Because before COVID, it wasn't as obvious. But since COVID, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
You know, it's so obvious because all we have to do is watch TV. You know, because, you know, in the time that we were locked in, all we have to do was watch TV. We had nothing else to do.
Right.
So it was so obvious that, you know, the news, the separation, the far left, far right, the riots. It was just force fed. But
it was all at once.
But
all at once.
Aside from that, since COVID, how's the comedy world?
You know, the funny thing is, once you come to peace with that, see that when you're out there and you're working every weekend, you're working Wednesday through Sunday, and then all of a sudden you stop, right? You think now that the comedian you're coming up with is passing you by because you're not on stage anymore. Once you come to peace and to terms with that, that industry train isn't moving anymore. It's come to a complete stop. I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it. I was lucky. I just became more of a family man, which was great because I'm home a hell of a lot more.
Right.
You know, I'm helping my son with his school because he's homeschooled now. He's like walks around in a bathrobe like Hugh Hefner.
Yeah.
With a juice box. Dad, I've got some people coming up playing Roblox today. It's going to get wild.
That's great.
You know, so I really embraced it for the good.
Yeah.
I took advantage of what it was. And I don't really talk about it that often because I don't want people, because I know people are going through it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you more than me, of course, your business, you can't open the doors. And if you do, you get people peeping over the fence, trying to shut you down or trying to just make a hard time, but, you know, give you a hard time.
Even when I'm open, I'm always looking out like, I wonder if someone's going to have a problem with this today.
Right.
Or this and that. You know, I'm not relaxed in my own business. Pre-COVID, I was like, I said something to God one day. I was like, God, could life move this quick forever? I'm like, things are moving fast and things are good. I'm like, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks later, I was like, oh, dude, I didn't ask you to stop my world.
Yeah.
You know, but things came to a big halt and it was a big adjustment for me to try to, you know, figure out what am I going to do? But then I put my training wheels on and I said, you know what, let's just roll with the punches, you know, suck it up and just take my time. And I'm taking my time with the business and I'm not sweating it. So, you know,
but when
things are going to get back together.
You take a beat, and then again, when it's someone like you, you'll never be down. You never, like a guy like you never goes, oh well, that's it. Let me just pack my shit up and go home.
No,
you know what I mean. So it's just people. It's the mentality of, you know, can you adjust to it, right? And again, it's one of those topics I don't talk about with a lot of people because I know people who've lost. People like they've died. People that lost their jobs, their businesses. You know, marriages just fell apart because I can't be around this asshole
all
for
day.
fucking this long. No way. You know what I mean? Like I like to eat so many milk duds. Now this guy knows my secret.
Right.
Like it's not. So I know a lot of people, but I really embraced it and I took it on like physically. I took it on mentally. I expanded everything within myself, getting a hunting license, motorcycle license.
Nice.
Signed up for a marathon, which I never did before. Like just shit like that.
Wait, that's right. Can I touch on
whatever
that?
you want to do.
So you trained 3 weeks for a 24-mile marathon, right? Is it 24?
26.2.
26.2 mile marathon. And how many weeks did you train for that?
3 weeks.
3 weeks, guys. 3 weeks. Who does that? That's some like Goggins shit right there.
Yeah, you know what's funny? It really is. I was talking to one of your fighters here, Jess, before the fight, and I said to her, "Look, if you ever want to come out any day and run, because now every Saturday I run 18 miles. Every
What?
Saturday, yeah,
18 miles, Mick.
I go out to Calverton and I run 18 miles every Saturday.
Wow. Wait, could I ask you?
Yeah,
Did Goggins inspire you?
Sometimes,
Okay.
absolutely, sometimes.
But what clicked? They said, I'm going to do ultra miles.
Well, here's what happened when I run. As a former fighter like you, right? You're running. You probably don't do more than 5 miles a day, right? It's an average for a fighter to do.
I do 3 miles when I run.
So
and then on one day a week, I'll do 5. So when you're
Okay.
telling me you're doing 18 on a Saturday,
Right, but
something's wrong here.
So fighters' mentality will usually go around 5 miles, right? Because you're doing a lot of cardio elsewhere, right? The bag, mitts, jump rope, sparring, shadow boxing,
Right.
everything else. So your running is kind of good for that endurance, and but you don't need to do long distance because you need to go fast and hard.
Right.
So when COVID hit, there's a field by my house. I couldn't go to the gym, as in lift weights, treadmill, that kind of stuff. So I would just run around the field, which is a quarter of a mile, and then I would stop at a certain station and do push-ups, stop and do pull-ups on these pull-up bars. So I was listening to, I had just finished Goggins' audiobook, right? Now there's 2 versions of that audiobook. You can get the audiobook or you can get the audiobook with a podcast.
Right.
So I'd listen to that. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is just, guys, is it shows it can be done, right? But then I listened to Marcus Luttrell.
I don't know him.
Do you know the movie Lone Survivor? With Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, with Mark. Yeah, great movie.
That's him. That's the real guy it's based on.
Okay.
Marcus Luttrell, right? So I'm running around this field, and there's a scene in it, in the movie, that Michael Murphy from Patchogue, who's buried out in Calverton.
That's right.
Where I actually ran the marathon, funny enough. There's a scene in the movie where he walks out, he makes a phone call and gets shot, right? And he gets killed.
Right.
But for some reason, Hollywood fucked up, because when you read that scene in the book, right, it's this guy who was surrounded. He couldn't get coverage. So he walked out to this open field, knowing there was 200 guys that would take him out, just so he could call in for help for his guys. Right? Now, that's not in the movie. In the movie, it shows him walking out. He calls for help, but he doesn't explain, guys, I have no coverage. And unless I go out there and put my life on the line, sacrifice my life, you 3 are not going to. So I think Hollywood fucking dropped the ball with that scene.
Right.
So I'm jogging, dropping push-ups, doing pull-ups, like crying out of exhaustion, out of emotion.
Yeah.
And then I'm coming up to mile 5, and I'm like, I'm such a bitch. Like, when I think about what these guys are going through.
Yeah.
Then I said to myself, I said, you all right? So I go, what if I just did 1 more mile?
Right.
Like, if these guys do that. So then that turned to 7, and 7 ended up turning to almost 12 miles.
Okay.
So then I'm thinking,
That's crazy.
how much have I been leaving on the table every single night? Right? Every single time I work out, how much have I been leaving on the table? So I got talking to then I found out the New York Marathon was 3 weeks away, and it was virtual.
Okay.
And that was beautiful to me, because I did not want to. I've always wanted to do a marathon in the back of my mind, right? But I didn't want to. I didn't want to go to Staten Island, find parking,
Right.
sign in, get one of those sticker things,
Right.
stand in line with 53,000 people, right? Checking my pulse on, with all those idiots, waiting for a gun to go off.
Yeah.
I'm competitive, so now the guy from Nigeria just takes off ahead of me,
Yeah.
right? Now and then I'm some competitive. I'm like, well, why can't I catch him? Well, because he's been chased by lions every day, right? So when I find that was virtual, I can just press go on the app.
Cool.
I just press go on the app, and then it stops at 26.2 miles.
All right.
And I said, fuck it, why not? Let me just go out and do it.
Why not?
And I did it.
That's awesome.
And
man.
now
I'll give you credit.
Cheers, man. But
I'll give you credit. That's an accomplishment. I want to do a marathon. So you're inspiring me, because I'm going to do one now.
I'm going to do one every month.
Okay.
I'm doing one every month. I'm doing one on Thanksgiving morning if you want to come out with me.
How many miles?
It's 26.2.
Okay.
But here's the good thing about it, right? And I was saying to Jess
I
earlier,
won't make it.
No. But
my legs will fail.
Here's the thing: the loop is 9 miles.
Okay.
Right. So you can do 1 lap of it, and when you get you're running through the woods, there's deer. It's beautiful out there.
Oh, that's nice.
It's beautiful. There's deer, there's snakes growing in front, like everything. And then when you do 1 lap, then your car is right there. So then I stop, change my shirt, drink some water, some gummy bears, banana. and then I kind of walk a little bit, and then I go again. So that's the perfect time you go, guys, I'm done. I can go home.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I might do it with you.
You should do it, man.
I might do it, and then I'll talk about it in another episode.
and you should. And the thing about it is that what was the hardest part for me was because you run like a fighter, right? You clench up. Yeah, we fighters, we run like that, right? The fist comes up here and you clench up and you want to get those. So once I realized that, like, all right, you got to drop your hands, pull your shoulders back,
relax,
just slow down. You know, some people say listening to music or audiobooks or podcasts is cheating.
Yeah.
If that's because runners will say, because once you get tired, that's your mind is supposed to tell. You know what I mean? You're supposed to have that mental game.
Right.
When you listen to something, you cut that out.
Okay.
And I did it, man. And I say this to anyone who's asked me since I've done it. It's like, I've done 2 since then. Well, I've done 2 in general. One was by accident.
Okay.
I
just kept going.
Well, no, I was running. I ran the 18 miles and I reached into my fanny pack, which is something I thought I'd never say, that I don't own a fanny pack. And my key fell out, my car key. And I knew exactly where I adjusted my pack. So I had to run back 4 miles and then back up another 4.
Right.
So that was like, that pretty much got me over the 26 miles.
Okay. All right, there you go.
And you know, so now I'm going to do one once a month just for myself. And
That's
I'm trying to sign up for the Ultra in Virginia in March, which is 100 miles in 24 hours.
Yeah, I give you credit. I think because listening to Goggins, I listened to his podcast. I'm sorry, his audiobook that where he narrated it as well. I was like, I want to do that. That's pretty extreme. That's something that is challenging. You know, I'm like, I have to do that. So now that I know you're doing it, I'm probably gonna tag along one day.
And here's the thing, man, and I say this to the people who mention to me, it's like there's always an excuse. Someone says, you know, this, that, the other. And like, I'm telling you, I'm no one special. I'm just an average person who goes to just a guy who goes to the gym.
Right.
Anyone can do it.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that to be.
You just gotta go.
That's exactly. You got to put one foot in front of the other, and just, you know, there's nothing special about me, man. I'm telling you, when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Nah, you're special, Mick.
Not with that stuff, man. I'm telling you, but not with that stuff. It's so achievable.
Right.
And
I agree.
And once you get that done, then you're like the medal came, they sent me the medal, straight in the garbage.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
In the garbage.
Wasn't about the medal.
I'm not going to sit on my victory.
Right.
And, you know, tell the kids, you know, once I ran them. No, it's like, what's next?
Lifestyle.
Right? So now the ultra marathon is my goal.
That's awesome.
The ultra is my goal. And I don't know what's going to happen, if there's going to be a huge shutdown. If I don't even know if they'll let me in.
Right.
Based on my running. They might not let you in.
What, the New York Marathon? Oh, the ultra.
The ultra in Virginia, right? Because that's 24 hours. So I don't think you can do that virtual, because I think you got to sleep.
So hopefully there's no shutdowns.
Yeah.
And you get to do what you got to do.
That's what I got to do, man.
Yeah.
And just, you know, you just can't sit on. You can't sit on. And here's the thing: when I was jogging the week before, I ran and I passed these guys by, and they were in the parking lot 10 minutes before, and I was trying to find. Oh, I can't find, my headphones won't work because they were Bluetooth. Like, oh shit, did I not charge them? And so I gave these guys a good 10-minute head start. So I caught up to them about at the 4 mile mark.
Right.
And so I was jogging with them a little bit side by side. And one guy goes, were you at the parking lot at the time? I was like, yeah. He goes, man, you're doing a good pace. I was like, oh, cheers. And I got talking. Yeah. And I said to him, I was telling him about the marathon, and he was like, oh, when are you doing it? He's like, this Saturday. And he goes, how long are you training for? I was like, just three. This will be my 3rd week. And he goes, yeah, you won't do it.
Nah.
And I went, all right, well, have a nice day.
Thanks for the confidence.
And I fucking took off like an idiot. And then I thought I pulled a hamstring.
Oh, shit.
Because I ran so fast just to prove a point to him. But it's like, you know what, man, don't let anyone...
No. Don't let nobody tell you nothing.
Just because they can't, and it's unachievable for them.
Right. They think small. They're small thinkers.
It's not even small, man. They just think it's impossible, and they think people think you're born an athlete. Yeah. Right. I don't even look at myself as an athlete for that kind of stuff. Yeah. Right. I just see a challenge, and I accepted it within myself, and you'll do it. I know for a fact you will. Yeah. Just how you're built.
I feel like I can.
How your mind is. Just go.
Go for it, and that's one foot after the next. I totally think I could do it. Actually, I just went hiking.
Okay.
I went to the North-South Lake in the Catskills with my cousin Justin and a couple of boys we grew up with from high school. Haven't hung out with them in years. So
how good is hiking, man, out in the wilderness?
My first time ever doing it, I'm in love. I can't wait for the weather to get a little warmer. I don't want to do it right now, but when the weather gets warmer, I'm going to find another mountain, and I'm going to hike it. But listen, the cool thing about this mountain, there was a plane crash at the top.
Okay.
Like an 18 year, I think, I don't want to.
Not when you were there, I hope, right?
No.
Oh, so cool. We were going through the luggage.
No, this kid, this is years ago, I think in the 80s, like a young pilot, 18-year-old kid. They told him, don't go out, Johnny. It's foggy out. It's foggy out. Don't fly today. And he ended up crashing at the top of the mountain. So now it's a point that everybody hikes to. And it's like you take pictures there and you go down. It was great. It was it was a perfect day too.
That's fine. I mean, I went up in last time, the only time I really went hiking was I went to Vermont. I was working in Vermont and I was in a town called Brattleboro,
Right.
which is where New York sends its ugly people. They are monsters there. Sorry, Brattleboro, but they're monsters and they're fucking beyond rude.
Wow.
Like beyond rude. Like I was at a light
Like
and
they're sheltered. They don't know about people.
nothing. Like it's like the way New York people are rude, but at least it's attractive people in New York. This was just monsters because I guess they're used to living in the snow, right? So they dress like they're Yetis and
Right.
and this woman behind me and the light turned green and I didn't go fast enough. She didn't just go boop. Like I've done that, right? Sometimes you honk at somebody and they take offense by it, but sometimes you could be like, hey man, light's green when you're ready, right? I'm not in a hurry, but no harm. This woman sat in the horn.
Wow.
Right? And Vermont's an open carry. What am I going to get out and say something or is she going to blow a hole in my chest? They're like, but there's a mountain there and I hiked up it. And there's black bears and everything, and I had a knife in my pocket, and
You had a knife,
and they said fanny pack. I had a knife in my pocket, yeah, and but yeah, I hiked for like I think it was like 6 miles up or something, by the time you go around. But then when I came back down, my plan was I'll go hiking, that'll be my cardio. I'll come back down, I'll go to the gym. When I got to the car, my legs were jelly. I was like, I'm just going back to my hotel. That's it, I'm done.
That's it. You did, so wait, it was a 6 mile total or 12?
12.
12, yeah.
Six up,
we did a
6
6.
back.
We did 3 there, 3 back. We felt good, but a 12 would have been tough.
Yeah.
I was like, good thing this wasn't 12 because we thought it was 12.
But that's when you don't know, right? And that's where your mind kicks in, right? If you go running, like if I take you on a marathon, right? And the thing about the app you use, it tells you when you're at certain miles. But the app I used was officially for the marathon. They were like, all right, you're at mile 5 now. Now you should figure out your rhythm. You shouldn't be like they had these coaches. So
That's
you're like,
cool.
you're like, all right, this is good. But then once in a while, because it was the first virtual, you would have this woman come on, and she would be saying like, oh, right now you'd be crossing the Brooklyn Bridge, and I would usually stop and take photographs here. And see, in my head when I'm running, I'm like, can you imagine 53,000 people and someone stops, take a picture, like, lady, get the fuck out. Right? Do you know what I mean? So I was getting stressed while I'm running. That's you know what I mean. But when you don't know where you are,
Right.
You know what I mean. All of a sudden,
You get past it. You're not even thinking about
you're
it.
not. That's it. You're not. Your mind isn't taking over.
Right.
You just know you'll get there when you get there. But when you start going, if you said like 26 miles, now you're doing 6 miles. Like, holy shit, I got 20 more miles to go. Like, no wonder this guy died.
Right.
The guy from Marathon. That's where it came from.
Oh, okay.
In Greece, there was a battle of the Battle of Marathon.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was the Battle of Marathon in Greece, and when the Greeks beat the Persians, one guy ran back 26.2 miles from Marathon to tell everybody that the war was over. And when he came back and told them the war was over, he died.
Wow.
And that's why
So that's where marathon comes from.
that's where it comes from.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's where it comes from. Yeah.
If you didn't know that, now you know.
Yeah.
Now you guys know. I didn't know that.
I mean, that guy's a wuss.
He
Yeah, that's
died.
me.
He died. Oh man.
And he probably ran it in sandals too.
Yeah, right.
So I give him some credit. And I'm sure it wasn't a flat surface. And there was no people along the way just giving him Gatorade.
Wow. So you ran a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
Got cheaper than therapy out.
Yeah, man.
Where amidst COVID, who knows what's going to happen?
Absolutely.
I mean, what else is going on? I'm trying to think.
I don't know, man.
I don't have much going on. I just got the gym. It's my first episode.
This is great, man. I mean, I just keep saying this. Like, you're gonna put this out from audio as well as video.
Yeah, both.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, you just keep getting one out once a week and just bang them out like that,
Yeah.
man. It's just people. That's it. Consistency is the key, and you get better.
I'll get better. See, that's my thing. I'll get better, guys. I'll get better.
Yeah, but the smart thing is bring someone like me who doesn't shut up.
That's why I brought Mick, because Mick is great. He controls. He can take over. I love it.
I used to go on dates with girls, and you would sit there all day, and the thing you'd be like, oh yeah, tell me about your, and you just sit there and and this girl is just going on for an hour talking about herself,
Right.
And in the end of the night, she goes, I had the best time. Of course you did. You talked about yourself, you selfish bitch.
Yeah.
She goes and tells her friends, "Oh, this guy is so nice.
Yeah.
I just talked to you talk about yourself. That's it. That's all you got to do.
That's it, man.
Yeah. So my podcast is going video in about 2 weeks, and it's nothing like this.
Right.
I got a nice backdrop. It's already built.
But you could do yours here.
It's already built. Yeah, but then I got to come all the way out, and I got George come in and produce it. And
Yeah,
it's like, you know what I mean?
It's all good. When you want to do it here, you let me know.
Oh man, I'd love to. I'd love to come
just
out.
let me know. You're great, man. I love what you're doing. Your show is super funny. You're hilarious.
I appreciate it, man.
Going to see you do stand up is just a pleasure. I went to go see you at Governor's about 2-3 months ago.
In the middle of the middle of the lockdown.
A week before they canceled comedy shows.
Yeah, they canceled the whole thing.
So we were lucky to get you at least one time this year. There was like 24 acts that night. It was so many people.
Yeah, it was an open mic night, and I like to go to open mic nights because I can just go up and bullshit and just try out new material in front of an audience and stuff.
And he killed it. Like out of all 24, you were the most natural, funny. I was like, that's what I needed.
Well, I'm doing it long enough, But yeah, the pandemic, man, when that hit, and that's the thing too about like the lockdown. It's like I'll follow any rules, as will you. But the rules don't make sense.
Not at all.
You're not
they
making
contradict
sense.
their own selves.
Like you can open up a restaurant, but not a comedy club.
Right.
What's the difference?
No
The only
difference.
difference is like there's an idiot in the corner telling jokes.
Right.
You're still serving food. You're still having drinks. What's the difference? I mean, do you ever go to like a restaurant or an Applebee's where the waiter thinks he's funny? How annoying is that? Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or he sits in the booth next to you. I'm like, man, I don't know.
Not today, buddy.
I don't need to.
Right.
Yeah. He comes and he writes on the table, hey, my name is John. Like, I
Yeah.
don't give a shit. Just get me my chicken wings and we'll be cool. That's it. I'll tip you. I'll tip you to leave me alone.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but all these rules they put in place, they just don't. They're all flawed.
Yeah.
They are all flawed.
So, are you able to do stand up in New York right now?
Not in New York. No.
Wow.
Tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night. Friday night, which is whatever. I'm up in Connecticut, in Pennsylvania.
Okay, so in Pennsylvania, you're allowed.
Pennsylvania, you're fine. It's a
Okay.
private event. It's social distancing. I'm going on with Chris Roach.
Okay.
I'm going on the road with him.
Nice.
Certain states I can go.
Okay.
Atlantic City, where I'm heading back to the Borgata. I haven't got my week yet, but I usually do a week at the Borgata.
Nice.
That's going ahead. Just wait for, you know what I mean? But just New York is a big no-no
I don't get it.
unless there's a shutdown.
And that might be coming.
You think so? Yeah.
Well, I mean, Chicago shut down. They're on.
That's them though. That's their decision. It's not from the top, is it? Not yet.
Texas
No.
is on its way.
Texas,
Really, Texas is?
and I even think Pennsylvania. Double check.
I just want to get by Friday, man, because it's a big payday for me
Double
too.
check.
It's
I think
like-
there's a curfew now. I think over there, and I think they're only allowing you to go to shopping, only doing a couple things. So double check.
Well, this is a private event. I'm not going to say there's a place. There's a place in New York that I'm going to be doing a weekly show out of,
Yeah.
and it's also private.
Oh, Mick, don't get in
Yeah,
trouble,
yeah.
Mick.
I'm not going to get in trouble. The people who are paying me to be on the show are going to get in trouble.
Yeah. No, that's great.
You know?
That's awesome, man. Well, I look forward to.
Yeah,
them.
man.
I look forward to them to opening up so I can go see you.
Yeah, man, that'd be great.
Also, you were telling me about some things you were writing, stories you were writing, or scripts you were writing for shows.
Yeah,
you want to talk about that?
I mean, I can't talk that much about it,
Okay.
but I'm working with one of the big TV movie productions in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And it's so I'm working with one of the writers, and we meet for maybe 9 hours a week.
Nice.
Combined, and we wrote the script for the pilot. It's done. We just have to kind of chop it up, edit it a little bit. It's too wordy here and there.
Okay.
And that was one of the reasons I came back to your gym, boxing, because it is based around boxing, and
Right. You were telling me.
that's pretty much all I can say really publicly about
Okay,
it.
that's cool. But you got
But-
things in the works, and that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, and that was one of the things too that kept me busy during the because like if I was doing comedy full time, the way I was which is like I'm going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday, 2 shows Friday, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday, trying to write jokes, and I just wouldn't have had the time to put the energy into this. Now
Right.
I'm all in. Like now
doors open.
it's great, man. So again, it's what you do with the time.
Right.
You know, you
Absolutely.
can choose sit home and And I see people and they joke about it, and which is funny. Like, I watched all of Netflix. Like, okay,
right.
I watched all of Pornhub.
I did a lot.
Okay, you do.
Not that. I did a lot of Netflix.
Yeah. But it's like, you watch it all, but it's also like, what else did you do? Like,
Right.
you can use this as a gift,
Mm-hmm.
or you can use it as a curse.
Yep. And I mean, personally, I said, what can I do? What happens if gyms never are allowed to open again?
Yeah.
I said, what am I going to do? What do I like? So I've always liked media. I've always liked editing film. I've always liked talking, even though I need to work on it. But this time made me create this studio and buy all this equipment. And I said, you know what? Let me just start a podcast. Not just for myself, neither. I'm going to rent the studio out to people who said, you know what? Let me put together my brand, my personality. Let me put it on tape. And people could rent this out. So I created a new business.
Yeah, I mean...
COVID made me create a new business.
And this is a legit, for someone to come in who has a podcast that can come in, just sit down, hit record, and leave, man. One of the easiest things to have is a podcast.
Yeah.
Right? It really is, and it's the future of entertainment. Like, nobody wants to listen to those morning radio guys.
Not no more.
Do you know what I mean? Nobody wants to listen to them with the female laughing at their dumb jokes.
Right.
And, it's too early for Christmas music. Can you believe they have Christmas music is up? Can we not just get
Let's play the game.
Yeah. And then
who's the next caller? Like,
right, and let's have a phone call where we catch somebody cheating, those kind of, which are all fake, because my friends write for radio shows. They're 100% fake. Wow. And then they go, hey, here's a song that we're going to tell you to listen to. Like, here's Katy Perry. I don't want to listen to Katy Perry. I'm not in that kind of mood. I want to listen to Bob Dylan or The Doors. I don't really want... No, here's Katy Perry. You're like, all right, I guess I'm listening to Katy Perry now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that whole platform is just dying to death, man. And this is the future, where someone comes in, if you have an episode for 20 minutes and their drive is 20 minutes, they're like, let me get this guy yell at me, make me laugh, or maybe I'm going to learn something today on something. And by the time you get to work, you've just done something and you're smarter. If it's an intellectual podcast or whatever.
That's what I do. I podcasts all the time.
That's it.
Gary V. I listen to. I listen to a lot of Gary Vee, to be honest with you.
Right.
My cousin George knows. He came over my house. I have it on my TV.
Okay.
What can I learn today from Gary? Shout out to Gary. Thank you for getting me out of my uncomfortable zone.
That's it, man.
He said, just go do it. Who cares how you look? Who cares how you feel? You just got to film yourself and go. Shout out to you, too, for giving me the vote of confidence to doing this, man. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And shout out to my cousin George for always being there and giving me my vote of confidence, too. So
yeah, man, you should do this. And I mean, especially someone like you, you're inspiring to other people. You're always positive. You're always positive. And that's, I personally gravitate to people like that, and that makes me a better person to be around someone like that. Like, I wasn't going to do my podcast live through a video. I was like, fuck it, it's fine.
Yeah.
Put on audio, they can listen to it driving to work. Who wants to see me?
Right.
And then I come out here and I was looking at this before. You had it, in my opinion, already perfect.
Right.
And then you made it even more perfect.
Right.
I'm like, all right, now I got to do it. So now I went out and I bought. Now my backdrop is not like this; it's all brick.
Good, nice, awesome.
But it's like I got now. That's what I was asking about mics. I have. Got a brand new desk this week. I built something behind the desk.
Sweet.
Got a brand new laptop, a beautiful camera on there.
Nice, man.
So I'm already starting, and that's because of coming out here and seeing this too.
I'm glad, man. So, I'm glad I inspired you for that.
Yeah. So if anyone wants a pot, man, this is the thing to do: to walk in, sit down, press record, and go home. You'd be an idiot not to take this room.
Absolutely.
You'd be an idiot not to take this room.
And the sound quality is great.
Phenomenal, man. It's absolutely phenomenal.
4K cameras. I mean, you can't beat it. It really can't.
Absolutely not. It's too professional.
I'm proud of it. I said, look, the professionalism is going to outweigh my my amateur hosting. But we'll get there, man. I'm just excited to do this, man. Look at new logo, special guest Mick
man.
Thomas.
It's got it.
Follow Mick Thomas on Instagram at Mick Thomas Comedy. That's where he's at. You guys want to see more about Mick? He's over there. I'm not ending the show. I'm just letting him know.
That's fine.
But
yeah, man, it's
just so you guys know, we're 52 minutes. Wow, we've been talking 52 minutes.
See that when you don't put a time on something.
Yeah. I didn't want to put a time on it. I just wanted to go.
But that's what I'm saying. When you run miles, you don't put 26.2 miles on it.
You just go.
Just go, and that's it.
Broken foot and all, just go.
That's it.
That's
go
Goggins
for it, man.
style.
Yeah.
Broken foot. He was cut. He didn't eat all day. He threw up on the 20th mile. He kept going. He did like another
blood.
80. Yeah.
You see, that's the thing too. But you listen to him, and then you have to step back and go like, all right, but if I live like that, right, I'm not going to be like, because he doesn't heal. Like, he doesn't let himself heal. Like, I'm not.
No.
Like, I want to be around for a while. You know what I mean?
I look at that too. I'm like, how does he do it? How does he expect to have a long life? Like, he's beating himself up every day.
Yeah, man.
You gotta fucking go, man. He's like, don't be a fucking pussy. Go run another 100 miles after you just ran 100 with 1 foot. I'm like, you for real? How could you do that?
Yeah,
Nah,
man.
but you know what I'm saying.
He's something else. Like that man is just.
Well, you know what? He got it from his father. His father whooped his ass when he was a
Yeah.
kid. You know, he
Yeah.
made him scrape gum off the roller rink floor. You know,
Yeah.
he made him a savage. You
Yeah,
know, he left him, and then he had another stepfather who ended up he murdered him. He committed suicide. What did he do?
his stepfather got killed.
He got killed.
murdered.
That's right.
He got murdered.
So
yeah.
he just came from a crazy upbringing.
Yeah, and then he had another stepfather who was a pilot. I think that was the guy who got murdered, right? His stepfather was a pilot and he got murdered, and that's where he got the inspiration to join
Navy SEALs.
Yeah,
and then he did that twice.
yeah, he did Buds, right? He did that training too. Man, you just listen to that, you're like, Jesus Christ Almighty!
Right.
You realize like what.
Right. What we could do, what our potential is. We can do whatever we want. You know, as long as we just push ourselves, we could accomplish anything.
But that's the key, man. To just to you don't want to sound like a meme or you know one of those people, but like you don't want to sound
true,
you don't want to sound any cliche. But if you don't believe in yourself, right, nobody else will.
Yeah.
Right. Like I was telling some of your fighters, like, where have you been? Like I was talking to some of the fight while you were waiting for you to come down. Like, I took because I was training for the marathon. I didn't want to. And then they were just kind of saying, like, really? Like, and I'm like, wait a minute, you're fighters. And you're saying you can't do that? Like, you're immediately acting like that's tough. I'm like, well, you haven't been tested then.
Right.
You're yet to be tested.
But I have to give kudos, though, to Jonah and Jess. They just did like 18 miles straight.
Oh, shit.
To raise money for the hospitals, the local hospitals for COVID, for all the workers. So they ended up we donated like $2,500.
Oh, wow.
Of food to Stony Brook Hospital, to all the the nurses and doctors. But they run. Those two run. Out of all of them, they run a lot.
Both of them are saying they might come with me one Saturday morning to do the 18 miles. But I was talking to like a friend of mine. If you there's a great documentary on Showtime about the Comedy Store.
Okay.
Right? And if you go to episode 3, when they talk about Sam Kinison a lot, one of my best friends is called Carl LeBove. And Carl is going through a tough time right now with cancer.
Right.
But Carl just had this remarkable life.
Right.
And I was lucky enough to spend a whole summer with him, right? And we became close. And to me, he's one of my favorite people in the world. So he's not doing too well with cancer now. So I'm going to run 100 miles in a week, right? That's my goal to raise money for him.
Wow.
But I just did, when I did the marathon a few weeks ago, I put on a thing for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And I think I raised, I can't remember, something, just around $2,000, I think.
Good
around
for
there.
you, man.
So I don't want to ask people for money again right away. So I'm going to wait a while.
Wait a little bit.
Yeah, and to do the ultra marathon, they say you have to at least have 2 or 3 weeks of 100 miles.
Okay.
Right? So, which is not, it's like 14 something miles a day, which is nothing.
You could do that.
Yeah, I could do that easily.
Right.
I just have to, I think I'll wait till the harsh winter is over. I'll have to wait for the harsh winter to be over and then kind of, because you get up.
It's a little cold.
It's not the cold. I mean, that doesn't bother me. But if I go run the track now, it's after snowing, they're going to close the park. I can't run in, 2 feet of snow.
Right.
And also just the time it gets dark around.
Yeah, it gets darker
4 o'clock,
early,
5 o'clock, and it's just like you can't train for that on a treadmill.
No.
So I'll just when kind of the spring, I'll start putting some serious 100 miles.
Absolutely.
And hopefully I can get in for it.
I'll be with you. Yeah. Do you have any websites for the donations now?
Not right now. But okay. I will set up a GoFundMe. But I just don't. I kind of feel it's just been too soon. I've been asking people for money for St. Jude's to do it. So I just think it's a bit too soon to ask again. I want people to, is he pocketing his money?
Right. Yeah.
Well, the good thing about that is like the money goes to them. I don't even, like when you go through Facebook or whatever and you set up the donations.
Right.
So when you donate to that, they get, like, I don't.
Right. That's
I
funny.
don't get it.
I actually did a GoFundMe for the gym for donations to help us keep us alive through COVID.
Okay.
And my lease was up on my truck. around that time. So I ended up getting a new truck. It had nothing to do with that money, but I'm like, people might think I spent that money on this. I just had a lease. It was a turn in. I got a new truck. And it was just
sorry, guy.
Funny.
Gym is closed, but an unrelated matter. Look at these new rims.
Yeah, I got some new wheels, but it was just my trade in, and I had to get a new truck. So, but it had nothing to do with it. But it's funny because, like you're saying, you don't want to put up another donation because you think people are gonna think like that.
Yeah, it's that, but it's also like I don't want to tap him out coming up close to Christmas and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And but I'll get a GoFundMe going for Carl.
And you guys could, Mick Thomas Comedy. You could go to his Instagram and you can find everything out there.
Yeah,
his shows, his Cheaper Than Therapy podcast, everything at Mick Thomas Comedy. Do you have a website?
No, I don't.
You don't need one now. Anyway.
Yeah. I used to have one. And
you don't even need it.
Yeah. I still bought it. And I get from GoDaddy. I think are the ones that host it.
Yeah.
And I think I paid them like $80 and just for the name.
For the name.
Thomas Comedy.
At least you have it.
Yeah, because some guy some people go, I tried to find you, and there's an Australian guy who's a singer, and there's some. I don't know. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he's just like frog-looking man who's a singer in Australia called Mick Thomas as well. So when people go try find me, I couldn't find him. Like he gave up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Because
well, you know what we'll do? I'll even help you with it because you have your podcast and you're gonna go video now.
Yeah.
We can set you up with a website where all your videos are on your own particular website.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
All your links, everything, just a main page.
Yeah, because on YouTube, it's kind of like I don't have enough content on there, and that was kind of like, why don't I have enough content on there? And then I'm like, so if I record my episode every week
and put it on there
directly live to YouTube is what I'm going to do.
Okay, that's cool.
And then I'll just go live because I don't have this production value that you have, so I've no music. I start, hey, welcome, and that's it, and then I'll just hit stop and I'll upload it, and that's it. I don't have fancy spinning logos. I don't have any of this. I don't have cool, comfy chairs. I don't have any of that stuff.
They're pretty comfortable.
I don't have any of that stuff. When I sat down in my little studio, I'm like, there's a nice bench. I got a nice desk, and that kind of stuff. Like, but I got to put the computer up on a stack of books.
Right.
It's like it's very ghetto, but it'll look nice.
Nah, you always do a good job, man. You do a great job. It's gonna come out awesome. Well, look, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. Mick, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. Seriously, it's such a pleasure having you. You're awesome. Again, find him on Mick Thomas Comedy, right? Mick Thomas Comedy?
Mick Thomas Comedy, yeah.
On Instagram. And once his YouTube channel comes up, he'll show you. You guys subscribe, and he'll notify you when all his new videos come out. And that's it, Mick. Man.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. And listen, the best of luck with the show. And if you ever need me to come back again,
he'll be back.
Not a problem.
He'll be back for sure. He might be back next week, actually. Episode 2 is with Mick. We're going to go talk about some other stuff. No.
Yeah. I could have changed my shirt. We could have ran into it and did a new episode.
For real. For sure. Yeah, you're the man, brother.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
Thanks, George, for holding down the
George,
audio.
Cheers, buddy.
Hopefully you hit record this time. Just kidding.
I looked before I did.
Remember last time we did it? We didn't hit record. My dad came in here.
Okay.
And we did like a test run. We never hit record.
Oh, shit.
Yo, he talked so much shit, too. My fault.
Solid hour.
Oh,
It was a
solid hour of no recording.
Can you imagine it was just like for the better, though? He just like,
You know
he
what?
goes on these racist rants.
Oh my God, no! Trust me, my dad. He's gonna be on the show too.
He should.
That's gonna be censored.
There's gonna be a
Oh, absolutely.
Dump button.
Actually, halfway through the show, talking to you, I'm like, oh fuck, did he hit? There's like, are we recording? So I like kind of went to another place. But I was like, oh fuck it, whatever. If we're not recording, we'll figure it out.
That's
when
funny.
It doesn't have a light on it. It's recording, right?
I don't even know.
It's fine.
But everything worked out, man. This is great. This is cool.